Well, well, well. CAIO, your time has come. Ain't no way out of this one, bucko. Alright, you guys. We've got CAIO versus IMAVOV in the main event. This is in France. It'll happen this Saturday, just like every other UFC card. We're going to start off with the less important things. I'm just going to kind of quick fire through this whole card, or at least the ones that I care about. It might just be two. We'll see. So, I believe Pitbull's on this card. He's against some no-name guy. I got Pitbull winning just because at least I know him. Yeah, I know. Great prediction. Moving on. Marcin Tybura. Okay, yeah, I'll be rooting for Marcin Tybura. Number 7. The rule is for Tybura and Spivak, I'm rooting for them unless they're actually a good heavyweight. Tybura, Derek Lewis, and Spivak are the only 3 heavyweight blobs that I will allow, other than Shamil the Blob Gaziev. Obviously, he's allowed. I mean, sure. I guess Benoit Saint Denis is going to get cooked by Rufy. I'm excited to see that. That'll be kind of cool. Benoit Saint Denis is going to get flatlined. I think the odds know it. I think I know it. I think you guys know it. I don't really see what there is to talk about here. I can't see Benoit Saint Denis being able to take this to the ground. And even if he can, I don't see him being able to get a submission or keep him on the ground long enough for him to do anything. Maybe he can control him around, but honestly, I doubt it. I think he's gonna engage in the striking like an idiot. He's gonna not move his head, and he's gonna get chinned, probably put into a high light reel from Rufy. Not really much to say. This fight, however, Nasruddin Imavov and CAIO Borralho. Ooh, guys, I cannot wait for this fight. Mostly because it's going to be a fraud check. Nasruddin Imavov is going to cook CAIO Borralho. I don't care if he's a fighting nerd. I thought he was the worst fighting nerd, and then I met Carlos Prates, losing to Ian Gary. So, yeah. So, as I said, I've got Imavov winning this. I think he's better than Borralho literally everywhere in the striking, the grappling, the wrestling. So, yeah, I don't know how the odds are displayed here. Apparently, CAIO Borralho is the favorite. I don't know how that's possible. We're going to actually take a look at their resumes right now. We're going to start off with Imavov. So, first thing I want you guys to pay attention to is these are 4 fights in a calendar year. So, that should tell you. We're going to get to his resume, to CAIO's resume in a second here, but should immediately tell you something when a guy fights 4 times in a calendar year, and then, even better, gets an appropriate amount of time off. He's had 6 months to get better. He's had time to deal with the injuries that he's probably been carrying in these fights. Anyways, Roman Dolidze, majority decision. I'm not gonna lie, didn't see the fight, didn't know Imavov that well. I just knew him as the guy that lost to Sean Strickland. But either way, I'm looking at the striking numbers. I'm kind of questioning how this could have been a draw on somebody's card. Either way, even if he was at this level at one point where he's having a close fight with Roman Dolidze, it's just kind of showing improvement, because in his next fight, he fights the number 5 ranked in the world at the time, Jared Cannonier. So we have a big step up in competition just 3 to 4 months later in June. And I'm not going to lie, he got an early stoppage. I was watching this one. I actually had it about to be 2-2 with Cannonier. I believe he was rallying back in the 4th. It looked like he was about to be 2-2. But then obviously Imavov hit him twice, and then I think it was Herzik decided that was enough, so he stopped it. But either way, definite step up in competition from Dolidze to Cannonier. And then we get another ranked fight with Brandon Allen. Brendan Allen, not great, especially his fight IQ. I honestly think Brendan Allen could have beaten IMAVOV, but he didn't. And IMAVOV showed some pretty good striking improvements, I felt, from Jared Cannonier to Brendan Allen. And then, even more importantly, we get September to February. We have Israel Adesanya. Now, I thought that Izzy was going to 49-46 him. I thought it'd be kind of boring. And in the first round, it definitely looked like it was going to be that. Izzy was able to light him up in the first round. Not that much difficulty. I will say, I have rewatched that fight. IMAVOV did land some nice shots a couple of times. But what was very impressive was in the second round, IMAVOV showed some really good killer instinct and the ability to capitalize on a mistake. So, as you guys remember, the reverse Pereira meme is he decided to wave off the ref even though he got eye poked. He tried to switch stances. IMAVOV saw it, capitalized on him, hit him really hard, and then while he was on the fence, he hit him with like one of the cleanest hooks on the fence I had ever seen in my life. Dropped him and just ground and pounded him until Izzy was out. Now, I want to make a couple of things very clear. His striking had gotten way better from Roman Dolidze to Jared Cannonier. I'd say it stayed kind of the same here, but in the Brendan Allen fight, he showed that he does have good enough grappling to keep people off of him. He was able to defend Brendan Allen's takedowns pretty well. He got one. Congratulations in a 3-round fight. I don't really care about that. But then with Israel Adesanya, he was able to capitalize, like I said. Very, very impressive. Because people think Izzy's washed now, and maybe he is at this point, but he looked amazing in that first round. So I think now we have a bigger threat. If CAIO makes a mistake, then IMAVOV will capitalize. Now we're going to take a look at Caio Borralho's last 12 months. We have, oh gosh. Okay, so immediate problem. So we have Paul Craig, who, I mean, I'm just going to say it. He lost to Bo Nickel, and look what Bo Nickel did. Turned out to be a fraud. So where does that leave Paul Craig? Like, great. He knocked out Paul Craig. I guess he's not a scrub. And I will give him this. I do believe that he had a better performance than IMAVOV against Jared Cannonier. But I don't know. I'm of the opinion that he should have gotten a finish in the 5th round, and they just didn't because they didn't want another early stoppage for Jared Cannonier. But at the same time, Cannonier was rushed back to competition, probably what he asked for, after just taking a bunch of damage. I think that Jared Cannonier would beat Borralho in a rematch, and he takes over a year off, and now he's finally fighting IMAVOV. I think he's going to be a little bit rusty. I don't see any amazing striking from him, or grappling, or really anything that's going to pose IMAVOV that much of a threat. If you guys want my final prediction, I'd say it's going to be a very boring 49-46. IMAVOV, he's going to clearly be ahead 4-1, and then we're all going to wonder how this fight even got made. People probably hate IMAVOV even more, but to be honest, he should have already gotten a title shot. He should be next right now. They're just pushing CAIO because he's a fighting nerd and he's got fame. So honestly, I am rooting for IMAVOV. I've never been impressed by CAIO so far, but may the best man win. Whoever has a more exciting finish. Or I guess whichever fighter can show up and show an amazing performance, I'll be happy for. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the easiest fights to predict ever. We're gonna see a really boring 49-46. Mavov's gonna Mavov's gonna cook him on the feet. I wouldn't say cook. He's gonna clearly win on the striking. CAIO's gonna shoot. Maybe he gets a takedown or two. It is 5 rounds. You never know, but he's not gonna get a submission. He's not gonna get a ground and pound TKO. Mavov will get up, and it'll be smooth sailing, especially once he gets rounds 4 or 5. Take care, you guys.